Summary of the Guide by R K Narayan. The Guide is the story of Raju's life. It goes back and forth between the present and the past and is told both in the third person and in the first person. Raju is born to a poor shopkeeper and his wife in the fictional Indian town of Malgudi. He grows up during a time of big changes, the most important of which is the building of a railroad line through the town when he is young. The railroad changes everything for the family and for Raju. The family does well after Raju's father opens a second shop in the train station. When Raju's father dies suddenly, Raju takes over the rail station shop to carry on his father's business. But Raju doesn't stay as a store owner for long. Soon, he starts giving tours of Malgudi to the many people who come to the train stop. Raju often makes up stories and tells tall tales to impress his customers as he tries to reinvent himself as a tour guide. His fame as a guide grows so much that he becomes known as Railway Raju, and people come from all over the world to find him. Marco Polo is a serious, hard-working scholar of old societies who comes to Malgudi to study the cave paintings and temples that are all over the area around the town. He hires Raju as a tour guide to help him find his way around all of these places. Raju's instant dislike of Marco Polo, who is arrogant and bossy, is made worse when he meets Marco Polo's young, beautiful wife Rosie, who comes to town soon after her husband. Even though she has a foreign name, Rosie is an Indian woman who has been taught in the art of Indian traditional dance. When Raju takes Rosie to see a snake charmer and watches her dance like the snake, he is blown away. He realizes that she is the best dancer he has ever seen. Raju takes care of Rosie and her husband because he wants to get closer to her. Soon, it's clear that something is wrong with the marriage. The couple often fights, and things come to a head at Membi Hills, which is outside of Malgudi and has cave paintings that Marco, with the help of his wife and Raju, goes to look at. During the trip to Membi Hills, the group stays at Peak House. There, Raju finds out that Rosie is unhappy with her husband, mostly because he won't let her pursue her love, traditional dance, which has been in her family for generations. Raju takes advantage of Rosie's unhappiness by making her feel good about herself and praising her dancing skills. Soon, they start dating behind Marco's back. Rosie tries again, with Raju's help, to talk to her husband about starting a career in classical dance. She is turned down, and in the process, she tells her husband that she is having an affair with Raju, a man who respects her skills. This makes things hard for the husband and wife. When Raju goes to Peak House to see Marco and Rosie, neither Rosie nor Marco tell him what's going on. Instead, Rosie tells Raju to leave them alone. Raju goes back to Malgudi, but being sad about Rosie's absence makes it hard for him to get back to his old life, like running the shop at the train station and being a tourist guide. A few weeks after his trip to Peak House, Rosie comes to the house he shares with his mother with her bags. Raju's mother is a traditional woman who is surprised when the single young woman shows up at the house, but she lets her stay for now. Rosie tells Raju that Marco broke up with her. Raju is thrilled to see Rosie again, and he encourages and helps her get back into dancing by letting her practice every day at his house. But soon, things start to go wrong with his mother. She has heard that Rosie is married, and she also knows that Rosie is a dancer from a lower caste. Raju's financial problems are also getting worse. The Sate, a merchant from whom he buys goods in bulk for the train shop, starts going to court to get Raju to pay back his bills. The shop goes out of business because Raju didn't take care of it. When Raju's uncle, who is his mother's brother, comes to the house, he insults Raju and Rosie and, with his sister, tells Rosie she has to leave. Raju takes Rosie's side in a rebellious way, so his mother packs up and leaves with her brother. Rosie keeps making art the whole time, not knowing how bad Raju's cash situation is. One day, she says she is ready to perform in public. She and Raju agree that the more traditional and interesting name Nalini is a good name for her first public performance, and Raju gets to work setting up her first public show. Rosie is a huge hit from the first time people hear about her. Raju, who says he is responsible for her meteoric rise to fame, reinvents himself as the manager of the beautiful and charming Nalini. Everyone wants to talk to Nalini, and Raju's part in running Rosie's business has made him rich and powerful. Still being chased by the Sate for the debts he owes for the railway shop and learning that his father's home is now mortgaged to the Sate, Raju and Rosie move to a larger, more luxurious house. There, Raju starts hosting important guests and making friends with politicians, bankers, and rich merchants, all of whom want to meet Nalini through Raju. Raju keeps Rosie busy with events and shows, but he starts to get jealous of her artist friends, with whom she likes to spend time, and he tries to keep her from seeing them. He does this even though he can tell that Rosie is becoming dangerously unhappy. One day, he gets a package in the mail that he didn't expect. It is the book that Rosie's husband, Marco, wrote about the paintings in Malgudi caves. Raju puts the book out of Rosie's reach. Still, she finds out that the book is out. When she reads about Marco's book in a magazine, she gets excited. Not only that, but Rosie and Raju get into a fight when Rosie finds out that Marco's book was sent to them, but Raju kept it from her. Raju hides a letter from Marco's lawyers to Rosie, which comes soon after the book. He does this because he is getting more and more jealous of Rosie's obsession with her husband. In the letter, Marco talks about a box of expensive items that he wants Rosie to have. Instead of giving the letter to Rosie, Raju fakes her name on the form sent by the lawyers so he can get the box of jewelry without her knowing. Soon, Raju's lie is found out when a police sergeant comes to one of Rosie's shows with an arrest warrant for Raju for forgery. Raju has no choice but to tell Rosie everything. She is very upset, especially when she finds out that Raju has been careless with the huge amount of money they have gotten from her dancing contracts. They are now so poor that it is hard for them to pay for Raju's court fees. She starts dancing again to make money to pay for Raju's bills, which include paying for an expensive lawyer to protect Raju in court. But the lawyer can't get Raju out of jail. Raju is found guilty of forgery and given a 2-year jail term. Even though he learns about Rosie's rise to fame in the newspapers he gets in jail, Raju never sees her again. Raju sits by a river near a small town. He just got out of jail and doesn't know what to do with himself. A stranger walks up to him and looks up at him in awe. Soon, the stranger, who turns out to be a local named Velan, admits that he is having trouble with a younger half-sister who won't agree to the marriage he has set up for her. Raju is bothered by Velan's overly high regard for him, but he still tries to help. After Velan takes his sister to see Raju, his sister agrees to the match he set up for her. Velan and his family say that Raju is the reason for this success. The locals think Raju is a holy man or spiritual guide because he was able to calm Velan's rebellious half-sister. Raju chooses to play the part that the villagers have given him since he has nowhere else to go and they bring him food every day for free. In order to play the part of holy man more effectively, he grows a beard and moves into the temple by the river. Every day, a group of locals gathers to hear him talk about different things. Even though Raju often feels like a fraud, he keeps up the act. When there is a serious drought in the village, Raju is tricked into going on a 2-week fast for the locals in order to bring rain. Realizing how big of a sacrifice the locals want him to make, and afraid for himself, Raju finally tells Velan everything about his life, including the times he lied and was locked up. Raju hopes that Velan will realize that he is not as powerful as the locals think he is and that he is just a normal person. But Velan's view of Raju hasn't changed after hearing his story. He talks and looks at Raju with the same awe and respect he had when they first met by the river. Raju is surprised and touched that Velan still calls him Swami despite his shameful past. He chooses to take the fast seriously as a way to return Velan's and the villagers' trust in him. People all over the world hear about the Swami's fast. Thousands of people come to the village to meet the brave holy man, and journalists come to cover the story. On the last day of the fast, Raju is so weak that he can't go down to the river alone to keep watch, as he has done every day during the fast. But with Velan's help, he finds the strength to get to the dry river. On the verge of passing out, He looks to the sky and tells Veland that he can feel rain coming over the hills.
About the author. R. K. Narayan was born in Chennai, which is a South Indian city. He spent most of his time in the city with his grandmother, who took care of him because his father was a headmaster and had to move around a lot. Narayan liked books and writing from a young age. After he finished college and worked for a short time as a teacher, he chose to focus on writing full-time. His early career, on the other hand, was hard. Even though one of the most famous writers of the time, the British author Graham Greene, had read his work and told his publishers that they should print it, Narayan's early books did not sell well, and he had trouble making money. But he kept writing, and by the end of the 1940s, he had a large number of fans and was making more money. As his fame grew, he went on more trips. He went to Australia, the United States, and England, where he finally met Graham Greene, one of his biggest fans. Narayan moved to the city of Mysore in southern India and kept writing until he was very old. His fiction, which takes place almost completely in the made-up town of Malgudi in southern India, is often funny and ironic in the way it talks about things like the conflict between tradition and technology, capitalism, family, and Hindu mythology. By the time he died in 2001, he was one of India's most prominent English-language writers.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.